You are now connected to the Christian Whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty.
Taking on 2,000 years of indoctrination, 2 hours at a time.
Sink or swim, deep end information.
Asking questions no one else will.
Parabiblical research, spiritual technology, personal empowerment.
Be your own guru.
Master your own ascension.
Guide your own spirit.
And now, showing you how, the Christian Whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty.
Well, Happy New Year to everyone. This is our first broadcast of 2016. We're glad to welcome you to the Christian Whistleblower Show. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. Glad to have with us Rocky Stucci running the show here at ipbn-fm.com. Thanks to Cliff Desmond and also Veronica, whose last name I don't know for some odd reason. Two great South Florida radio voices that you hear on our introduction when we leave the show, and also when we come in and out from our breaks. We also have a little bit of new music tonight, created by my son Joshua Allen Daugherty. A lot of the rates are changing as far as copyrighted music, so he does a good job at getting you music that you don't have to pay for if you're in this business. So let me know. Veronica Knight is her name. So Cliff Desmond, Veronica Knight, Rocky Stucci, thanks to all of you for making this all work, because all I do is sit here and talk to a microphone. And believe it or not, that's not too difficult for me. 2016, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Cliff Desmond told me that it was going to be 2016 was going to be the year of the goddess. And when he said it, I was kind of like, yeah, okay. But it made rational sense to me, because we're so far into the masculine energy as a people, as a culture, as a planet, and really even it bleeds over strong into the paranormal realms. Now, we do have some very powerful women in our midst, but it's not as much as in the church. In fact, I was talking with someone the other night, and I remember when I was an evangelist with the Assemblies of God, 20 years an evangelist, Pentecostal evangelist, and if you do not know what an evangelist does, they go church to church to church for a week or two, maybe 3 weeks, you preach, and you move on to the next church. So the evangelist is paid to blow in, blow up, and blow out. And that's what I did, brother. Blew in, blew up, and blew out. That's what I did, sister. That was how I made my living. And the thing that always struck me is it didn't matter where I was going to preach. It didn't matter what city, what state, and literally it didn't matter what continent. I actually preached on 5 different continents. And it didn't matter. Wherever I went, typically, on average, the congregation was about 70% female. Consistently, across the world, in Protestant, Pentecostal, hardcore, holy roller Christianity, it was about 70% Christian, or 70% female. And as I look around the paranormal world, going to a lot of these conferences, doing things like that, I don't see that 70% number up there yet. I hope that it climbs up. It's just a mystery to me how 70% of Christianity is populated and funded by females, and they're sitting by, allowing themselves to be discriminated against, looked down on, controlled, blamed, and they're being used is what they're being. And even though these ladies are more spiritually in tune than a lot of the men, they're being used. And hopefully, through the work of the Christian Whistleblower and other folks that are doing the same work, we can get through to these ladies. Because ladies, 2016 will be the year of the goddess, and it's time for you to rise up. It's time for you to realize, look, if you're in a Christian church still, and I got a very heartfelt letter from a man, and some of you that follow me on Facebook, or are my friends on Facebook, you saw this. No, I did. I don't know if I posted it or not. It was very personal. He is currently a pastor of a fairly prominent church. He's a junior pastor, so there's about 4 or 5 pastors in this church. He is one of them. And he has had inklings and wonderings and thoughts along the lines of what we talk about here on the Christian Whistleblower, and he's now ready to leave that church. So here's a guy that is a pastor whose salary is paid, whose housing is provided, whose family is based, his friends are based, his whole life is based in this church. And here's a brother that is asking me, I've got to do it, how do I do it? He's gonna leave the church. So here's a man with some guts. Here's a man with some cojones. Here's a man that's finally finished fooling around, and he's about to make the break. 2016 can be the year that you make the break. If you're still sitting in a Christian church, I guarantee you, you don't have as much to lose as this pastor has to lose that has already made the decision to leave the church. I know firsthand, salary gone, house gone, family gone, car gone. It wasn't Calgon take me away, it was the poorhouse going to take me away because I was done. But I got forced out. I mean, I had to leave because my wife decided she didn't be married anymore. And in that denomination, you cannot preach for 3 years. But I know the struggle that this man is facing, and he's facing it willingly. To me, that is an inspiration. To me, that is a sign that 2016, not only going to be the year of the goddess, but it'll be the year of freedom. And the year of the goddess will be bringing us back away from this hyper-masculine spirituality, from this hyper-masculine place that we are. And as we come back towards the middle, now we don't want to swing all the way into the hyper-feminine either, because there's difficulties there as well. But as we get back towards the middle, we begin to see, we begin to realize, we begin to understand that we're really not all wrapped up in this church that we're in. Or maybe, I talk about this a lot, and again, I've done it. And I was scared to death when I did it. People said I was stupid when I did it. People thought I was crazy when I did it. And there were some lean, tough times. And I still have to do things that I don't want to do in order to keep the proverbial wolf away from the door. But I challenge you. If you're still in a Pauline church, let 2016 be your year of deliverance. And I challenge you. Remember if you're old as me, you remember Robert Conrad with the battery on his shoulder saying, go ahead, I dare you. Knock it off. So today I'm going Robert Conrad on the old school Baba Black Sheep Wild Wild West Robert Conrad. And I dare you. I'm provoking you to good works. Let 2016 be the year that you embrace your great basic purpose. And if you don't know what your great basic purpose is, let 2016 be the year that you discover your great basic purpose. So, Jeff, what are you talking about? I'm talking about you getting up and walking out of that place that you spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week doing something that you hate, with people you wouldn't choose to hang out with, for a level of income that is barely sustaining you, and you are building somebody else's dreams while yours are laid aside and rot and wither and die and blow away. Let 2016 be the year you change that. Now, you don't have to be a crazy nut like me and walk out on a job in the high 6 figures and just be broke, busted, and disgusted. You don't have to do that. I'm an extremist. I'm a radical kind of guy. But what you can do is something very simple and I say it's easy because I define easy as anything you're able to do. Any of you can do this if you decide to do it. If you know what your basic purpose is, and if you don't know, then I'm speaking Swahili right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if you know what your great basic purpose is, begin to do that great basic purpose. Begin to embrace that great basic purpose. Let's say that your great basic purpose is to be involved with a healing ministry. Let's just say that you know how to heal people, or you know how to help people get delivered from unbalanced entities. Or let's make it simple. Painting is your great basic purpose. I know that's silly, but what I'm saying is, if you're working 40, 50, 60 hours at work, cut back some of your time at work. Now, that might mean you have to get rid of one of your 3 cars. That might mean you have to get rid of one of your 2 motorcycles. That might mean you might have to get rid of one of your 2 boats. You might even have to consider downsizing your housing situation. But it's, what is it worth to you? What is it worth to you? Do you want to continue to build somebody else's dreams while yours wither, die, and blow away? Or do you want to cut back yourself at the slave job where you're building somebody else's dreams, and then begin to spend some time doing what you want to do? You're painting in this case. Do you realize that you spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week doing what somebody else pays you to do while you build their dreams, and your dreams get the scattered leftovers, maybe a couple hours on the weekends? So, and you will find that as you begin to do your painting in this case, your painting will begin to generate income. And as your painting generates income, then you can stop working even more at the slave job. And you'll get to the place, and it can happen very, very quickly, that you'll be able to get to that breaking point where you can cowboy up, or you can cowgirl up, you can go big dog, and you can walk out of the cubicle. You can walk out of the place where you build someone else's dreams while yours die. And that'll be the day that you will celebrate for your entire life. It is a day of deliverance. It is a day of true salvation. It's the greatest day in your life. And I remember when I did it, and man, it was so fantastic. But it'll be good for you, but it's good for more than you. And I just posted something on my Facebook, a lady giving a talk. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Oprah, but Oprah was involved in this, and it was just a tremendous talk about kind of relationship and how to embrace who you are and what you are. But it's not only good for you, but if you're stuck in a cubicle, or if you're stuck doing anything other than what your great basic purpose is, you're stealing from me, because I got to pick up your slack. My back hurts from carrying you. My back is killing me because I'm carrying all the weight, because you're not doing what you need to do, because you're building somebody else's dreams, and that's not where you're supposed to be, my sister. So why are you doing that to me? Why are you hurting me like this? I'm an old guy. I can't be doing all this by myself. I need you. And until you do what you're meant to do, somebody else has got to pick up your slack. Or, even worse, what you're supposed to bring to the table doesn't get brought, and now we're all starving to death. Why you want to starve us, brother? Why you want to starve us, sister? What did I ever do to you? I'm bringing you all I'm supposed to be. I'm bringing my groceries to the table that I'm supposed to provide. Why you want to starve me? Why you want to make me carry you? You see what I'm getting at? It's not just you, but you are bigger than you. You are part of we. And we can't get to where we need to be until you get your head on straight. We can't get to where we need to be until you quit being such a baby. We can't get to where we need to be until you quit being so damn scared. You know what I want to say? Until you stop being a you know what, but I can't do that because this is professional family radio. You are costing me. You are costing we. We're all in this together. We're all hooked up together, and we can't ascend as a populace, as a planet, until each one of us gets ourselves into ascension mode. And I don't, whether you like that word or not, we can't be all that we're supposed to be until we all are what we're supposed to be. And you're holding us back. So I encourage you, for your own good, make 2016 the year of your deliverance. I encourage you, for all of us collectively, make 2016 your year of deliverance. And going back to what Cliff said, 2016 being the year of the goddess. If you have a goddess in your life, it's time to start listening to her more closely. Well, who's a goddess? If I have to tell you who a goddess is, then you need to start with how to recognize a goddess. If you've got a powerful feminine influence in your life, it's time to listen to her. If you've got a powerful feminine influence in your life, it's time to respect her. It's time to not do I'm not saying do everything she says. Sorry, ladies. I'm not saying if she says jump, you say how high. But what I'm saying is, if you have a strong feminine presence in your life, a goddess, that's what I'm using. That's what I'm referring to when I use that term goddess. If you have a goddess in your life, you need to start paying attention to what she says. You need to start weighing heavily what she says. And I know, psychologically speaking, me saying you need to do it isn't really the best way to do it, but you just need to do it. We're beyond parsing words, and it's not just you, it's us collectively. And this is one of the reasons why Pauline Christianity is so bad on women, so hard on women, so destructive on women. That's why they are so prejudiced against women. That's why they've been fighting for 2,000 years to keep the sisters down, because they know that this feminine energy 2,000 years ago even, and to today, and 2,000 years is a drop in the bucket when you're talking about the ascension of a species. They know that where we are and where we were 2,000 years ago, it's really the same. And is there even really time? Man, I got to get to that. But they know that they have to do everything they can to keep that feminine influence. They got to keep the goddess bound. They got to keep raping the goddess. They got to keep slapping the goddess. They got to keep gagging the goddess. They got to keep beating the goddess. They've got to keep the goddess ashamed, bound, and silent. And if you're a woman today in Pauline Christianity, you're being raped, you're being bound, you're being gagged, you're being used and abused. You're a captive, you're a prisoner. And this is one of the main reasons why Pauline Christianity keeps the feminine, the sacred feminine, the goddess bound, because she holds the key to our deliverance as a species and as a people. Now, the man of the hour, Cliff Desmond, says the male's very vulnerable to the voice commands of the female. This is because of her goddess nature. They have power to destroy a man with just a few words. There's a reason for this. Great words from Cliff. And like I said, it doesn't mean listen to everything she says, do everything she says. It's about balance. If you just listen to everything a female or a goddess said, that's way over out of balance on the feminine side. Right now, we don't listen to a damn thing they say, because Paul says they should shut up, not say anything in church, that they should not have authority over a man, that sin, our sin nature, this original sin that Paul teaches, was their fault, and that a woman ought to shut the hell up and go make us a sandwich. That's what he says. I didn't say it. That's wrong, but it's also wrong to whatever the goddess speaks, that you fall at her feet and do whatever she says. Sorry, ladies. I'm talking about balance. I'm talking about hearing the words of the goddess that you would normally shrug off. I'm talking about weighing the words of the goddess where you normally just say, okay, I'm going to pretend to listen to her, but I'm really thinking about baseball in my head. I'm talking about weighing the words of the goddess. And if you don't have a goddess in your life, if you don't have a female presence, be open to the introduction of a female presence into your life. Because I'm just going to say this. This might sound strong to you. It might sound unloving or unkind, but if you don't have a strong feminine presence in your life or trying to come into your life, you're probably way off track, brother. Because we're at this place right now where we need to get back to where we need to be. The only way for us to get there is through the strong goddess presence. So if you ain't got one knocking on your door or somewhere around your periphery, either you haven't noticed or, man, you are in big trouble because you're not at the place where the goddess can help you help us. So I would do whatever I had to do to get myself to the place where, man, at least there's someone hovering, someone somewhere in my vicinity. I'd do what I had to do to get in touch with a goddess in your life if you don't have one. You could be, I mean, seriously, you could be in big trouble if you don't have a feminine presence in your life or one around the periphery of your life trying to get in. Open your eyes, open your spirit, be ready, Freddie. That's what we need to do. And I wanted to talk a little bit tonight, and I'm going to ramble on a little bit more here. And then after this first break, I want to take questions if you want to call in, because I haven't done a really great job with getting across the basics of what we're trying to put across. And we'll be back after the break, and the break's not for a few minutes. But the number to call in would be 651 760 8906, 651 760 8906. You can call in after the break when we get back. And this is not your chance to call in and preach a sermon or make a big, long-winded statement. If you'd like to do that, you can talk to Rocky at another time and talk to him about getting a show on the network. This is for you to call in. If you have a brief statement, that's okay, but it's really for asking questions. This is the Christian Whistleblower Show. It's not the You Show. So, yes, ask some questions. Yes, make a short, brief statement, but this is not the time for you to call in and make a sermon. But you can talk to Rocky about that later if you would like to. But I guess it's not really a fight because I don't fight, but I had a person on Facebook today. And it was a lady, by the way, which is kind of interesting. But she was just badgering me back over and over and over about what I thought was really a pretty simple concept, but she just had the wires so crossed in her brain that she couldn't see. It was like me saying, but 2 plus 2 really does equal 4. She's like, no, 2 plus 2 equals 5, you dummy. And she's on my timeline, or whatever they call it on Facebook, talking about how wrong I am and how stupid I am. And I had to tell her, look, I'm okay with discussion, but you can't be rude. I'm like Hannibal Lecter. When at all possible, I prefer to eat the rude. So you can't be rude and be on my timeline or be in my Twitter. And those of you don't think I don't know. I check every day. It comes. I have it on my email. It pops up anytime somebody leaves a comment on one of my videos. I will go, and if it's a stupid comment, I'll take it off, and I will block you. So you're not, 3 in the morning I wake up, block people. So she was just fighting me and fighting me and fighting me, but I realized that I haven't done such a good job about talking about the basics that underpin this great work and this very, very advanced train of thought that we're rolling down the tracks here. I think everybody is studying, 5, 6, 7 hours a day, like I am. I think that everybody's doing polyphasic sleep so they have more time to study and read, and that's just not true. And I get way on down the track, and I realize, you know what? I didn't give enough of those basics. So if you have some basic questions, Jeff, her whole thing was about Jesus and Yeshua. Jesus, she was telling me, is a bad guy. He's a blood god. He requires bloodshed. And she's right. Jesus really never existed. This person, Jesus, there's a reason we call him Plastic Jesus. It's not just because it's funny. We call him Plastic Jesus because he's fake. This person, Jesus, never existed. And I've proven this over and over and over again. And if you have enough interest, you can go back get my books, look at my YouTube, listen to the past shows, and you'll see that we've proven over and over again that this plastic Jesus never existed. He was not born in Bethlehem. He did not die on the cross. He did not rise again, and he's not coming again because he never was. He's a fake person that the Lord created, that Pauline religion created. It's a plastic, it's a cardboard cutout, and the Lord has usurped that imagery to become the Lord Jesus Christ. But Yeshua, on the other hand, was real. Yeshua, on the other hand, is real. Yeshua is the man that came, the Elohim that took on human form as a full-grown man, not as a baby in Bethlehem. The full-grown Yeshua, the Elohim, came down as a full-grown man. He brought enlightenment that enlightens every single person that's ever been born into the world. He brought the ways, the best of all the ways of human spirituality, the best of all the truths of human spirituality that lead to a path that leads to life and life more abundant. And I just had something dropped on me today that is going to be tremendous about who Jesus was and why his message, if you look at the true message of Yeshua, not Jesus, if you look at the true message of Yeshua, you find the words of the Buddha in there. If you look at the true message of Yeshua, you find the words of the Far Eastern religions, like the Hindu religions and the other religions of India. You'll find words of the Tao. You'll find words of Shinto in there. You'll find words of the Native American spirituality in there. You'll find words of the Pacific Islander religion in there. You'll find words of the old European religions in the teachings of Yeshua. I thought I understood why. I thought I knew why. But man, we've got some heavy revy coming up. That's a heavy revelation for those of you that haven't heard my silly shorthand. We've got some powerful stuff coming up in 2016. Not only is it going to be the year of the goddess, not only is it going to be the year of your deliverance, it's going to be the year that your mind explodes. It's not going to be stepping out of the box. The box will be obliterated. We're going to learn why the teachings of all these other religions are in the teachings of Yeshua. We're going to learn that when Yeshua said, speak to the dead and bring regeneration to them, it's even the dead that are in the spiritual realm that have already disintegrated. We're going to be able to transcend not only life, but time. Man, 2016 is going to be quite a year. And what you going to do when the truth breaks out all over you in 2016? We'll be right back with your calls, the answer to some more basic questions, and then we're going to get back in and finish up our look at the spaceships of the Bible gods and some differentiation between them. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and I'll BRB.
To the largest spiritual network on the planet, the Jeffrey Daugherty Show.
This is Jeffrey Daugherty. Welcome back. I was letting that run a little longer. That's some of the music that my son Joshua Allen created, and it sounds good. I mean, it's good stuff. It kind of sets the mood that we're talking about. And Rocky and I were just talking, during the break about some of the things that we're going to be talking about, and I can't really break them out tonight because they're so speculative that I have to have some more understanding. I got to wrap my head around it, but. I mean, everybody talks about what if you could go back and put a bullet in Hitler's brain, right? Why did no one ever ask, what if you could go back and teach the young Hitler not to be such a jerk? What if you could do that? And what if you could apply that to this spiritual realm? What if time isn't what we think time is? What if time is merely tuning in to a frequency, tuning in to a modulation? What if we could freely move and we could affect spiritual things that have long since disintegrated from our timeline and reach out and touch someone, something beyond? It's going to be amazing stuff that we're talking about, folks. We're going to go to the phone lines in a little while, but let's go ahead and talk right now. We've got some good stuff going on in the chat room. Somebody says truth is on the loose, and it's wreaking havoc among the liars, cheaters, and the stealers. Uncountable others are absorbing your message, they say, about to break free from the mold, and they have been assigned by their peers. I believe that 110%. And let me just get some basics. I'm going to start talking about the basics of what I believe, and it's not just what I believe, it's what I have proven to you from the scriptures. Yes, I am a former Pentecostal evangelist. I am not an Orthodox Christian anymore. I'm a follower of the teachings of Yeshua, but I have abandoned the lies of Jesus. Again, Jesus is a plastic Jesus, a cardboard cutout that was created in order to drive the unique message of Yeshua back into the pantheon of all the other gods and make him just like all the other gods. Because you see, Yeshua's message was essentially pretty simple. It was, you are not born with original sin. You have the spark of divinity within. The teaching that you were born a sinner is a lie. The teaching that you were born with darkness in you is a lie. It's one of the most diabolical teachings ever to be perpetrated upon humanity. And they had that working. The Jewish religion had that working. People buying a goat, buying a cow, buying a bird to give to some other dude to kill. I mean, how stupid is that? I'm going to go spend my hard-earned money on a goat at a greatly inflated price, and as soon as I pay this fool for this goat, he's going to kill it. Plus, I had to give him a bunch of money just as an offering to boot. Folks, that's called bondage. And Yeshua came saying, whoa, wait a minute. He said, look, you don't need blood to wash away your sins. I don't care what they've been telling you. You don't need blood to wash away your sins because, number one, you don't have sins. You got the spark of divinity within. And number two, if you have missed the mark, you have this thing I'm instituting now called baptism, washing away your sins in a symbolic sense. So you get baptized. That's what Yeshua said. So there's no need for bloodshed anymore. If you're trying to control a populace, you can't have that kind of message going on. So the Romans, through Paul, Nero, initiated this Pauline Christianity. Today it's in its Roman Catholic and its Roman Protestant versions. And they continued the blood. And they had to create this Jesus person to replace Yeshua. And they bring this guy born in Bethlehem, knowing full well that Yeshua manifested as a full-grown man. They bring this guy dying on a cross, knowing full well that Yeshua didn't die on a cross because he's an Elohim God. You can't kill him. They create this big resurrection when Yeshua didn't need to resurrect because he never died. And they got this thing about he's coming again where Yeshua said, no, there won't be any comings because I've already arrived and I'm in you and you are me. You and I are one. Why are you looking for somebody to come back? If you want to see the return of Yeshua, go look in the nearest reflective surface. That's the return of Yeshua. You got the spark of divinity within you, and Jesus had to be created to forever hide this message. Because once you have that message out, you can't control people anymore. If people think they're filled with sin and you've got the only way to save them, if people think they're on fire and you got the only extinguisher, they're going to line up and do what you say. when you tell them to say it, where you tell them to do it, and how you tell them to do it. If they realize they're not on fire, then they're not going to come to you unless you have something of value to offer them. So now you don't get to dictate, you have to serve. Right now, if you're scared to damn death, and I'm the preacher that's got the great news from God, you'll pay me. You'll give me money. You'll give me worship. And all I have to do is give you out a little bit just to keep you feeling hell under your feet, but not feeling safe. But on the other hand, if you think and know that you have the spark of divinity within, if you know that you're following the ways of Yeshua, you're only coming to me if I have something of value to offer you that aids you in your walk and your talk and your progress. If I'm not helping you, then you don't waste your time on me. I don't have any power over you anymore. The only power I have over you is if I have the ability to help you. The only power I have over you is if I have power to serve you. Are you starting to get it? Jesus is the Lord. Jesus is powerful. Jesus is scary. Yeshua is a servant. Yeshua is a giver. Yeshua gives you peace that passes all understanding. Jesus scares the hell out of you because he's going to throw a lightning bolt down if you mess up, and that brother's coming back. We've read in the Bible, and boy, is he pissed. That's Jesus. Yeshua says, man, if you're feeling burdened down by religion, come over here, brother. If you're feeling weighed down by the ceremonial requirements of religiosity, come over here. King James put it, ye that are weary and heavy laden, come unto me, all ye that are weary and heavy laden. The word in the original Greek is, all you that are bound down by the rules, regulations, and requirements of religious ceremony. So, man, I know these fools have been telling you that you're full of original sin. I know these fools have been telling you that you got to pay your tithe, you got to come to church, you got to buy their books, you got to take the blood sacrifice on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. I know they've been telling you all this stuff, and I know it's got you bummed out. I know it's got you worried. So if you're feeling that way, and you're realizing, man, this can't be true, come to me. He said, my burden is easy, my yoke is light. There's still ways. There's still truths. Yeshua said, I've got all the ways, all the best of the ways of human spirituality. I've got all the best of the truths of human spirituality. And I can't wait to tell you why. He has that stuff, but not tonight. And he says, come to me, I'll give it to you. And it'll be easy. It'll be burden-free. And you'll be walking towards the light and the ways of truth, and not a scared life, but peace. Peace, 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 peace. You know what the word means in the original Greek? It means nothing is broken, nothing is lacking. Peace, because nothing is broken, nothing is lacking. Do you feel broken tonight in any part of your body, your mind, your spirit, your heart? Do you feel broken? If you feel broken, Yeshua has a way to take away all brokenness. Do you feel like you're lacking tonight? Do you have lacking in your life, in your finances, in your heart, in your love, in your body? Yeshua has peace to give to you without cost, without price, without guilt, without fear. Jesus points his finger at you, shakes it in your face. Yeshua reaches out his hand, says, sister, brother, let me help. Jesus accuses you. Yeshua welcomes you. It's the difference between religion. It's the difference between indoctrination and enlightenment. As we get ready to go to calls, Cliff says, beware of the latest religious buzzword. It's the word accountability. And Cliff, you know this is really an old thing. Come back. The obedient act of placing yourself in someone else's control. Very powerful guilt reactions, expressions in a way pastors that are controlling. And Cliff, you'll remember back from your TBN days, I remember even I was against this, and I was a controlling SOB, man. I was preaching hell so hot you could feel your toes burning. But there used to be something, I think it was called the accountability movement or something like that. But you would place yourself under a person, and quite literally, should I go to school at this time? Should I date this person? Sometimes, I mean, I'm telling you, how often should I go to the bathroom? Should I drink Pepsi or should I drink RC? Should I eat moon pies or Swiss rolls? Should I have corn on the cob or cream corn? It was the accountability movement, and it was big. And I mean, that's called the penitentiary movement. And being that bound to people in the ways of your life, it just makes you be bound in your mind. It's called spiritual Stockholm syndrome. You begin to fall in love with your captors and you even defend them. Yeah, Cliff says he does remember that. And it's coming back again. Cliff says, I'm not tuned in as much as I should be to big time religion anymore, but yeah, beware of that accountability. And I mean, just get the hell out of the Roman Catholic Church. Just get the hell out of the Roman Protestant Church. Find yourself a place where one or two people might believe the way you do. I've been hounded, I say, by several people. Jeff, we need a virtual fellowship. We need a virtual church, for lack of a better word. We need you to get on the internet on a regular basis and have some services, for lack of a better word. We need you to get on there and help us out on a regular basis. I mean, Cliff started something about the Church of the Elohim, something or other. I can't remember the name of it. It was brilliant. Oh, man, I got so much on my plate, but I know there's such a need for that. We're going to do it. I'm finally starting to get some help. So we're gonna find a way to get you out of Pauline Christianity. I know you hate to be all by yourself, so we're gonna find a way to have a internet portal where you can go, and once a week, twice a week, we'll have some live meetings where we'll give some inspiration, where we can talk, where we can interact. We'll have some of that stuff. And then we'll also have maybe some places where you can go and learn some things and do some classes or some things of that nature. And we can tell where you all are watching and tuning in. And if we have, 75 people tuning in Topeka, well, we'll just plan a trip out to Topeka so we can have a good time together, a little meeting together. We got to do it. We got to do it. Cliff has been telling me to do it for probably a year. And I can't really think of a good excuse. I don't have one. I guess I've just been too full of myself and too busy doing what I think I have to do and what I need to do to build up what I'm doing. And I apologize to you. That needs to become more of a priority. We've got to get that done. Now, we've only got about 10 minutes left in this segment, so we can bleed over the next one if you like. If you have a question, if you have a short statement, if you'd like to know something, go ahead and call up 651-7... Man, where's my magnifying glass? Can you believe that? 651-760-8906. And you can talk to me. You can ask your question. But some of the basic things that we talk about, the very basic thing is, you are not born with original sin. You have the spark of divinity within. Original sin is strictly a Pauline invention as we're speaking in our modern times. There is no there is no original sin. You're not born a sinner. You're born with the spark of divinity within. Yeshua said that. Yeshua said, hey, you have the spark of divinity in your life. The kingdom of heaven is in you. So that's that's probably one of the main things about the message of the Christian Whistleblower and the message of the Lion Rat Bastard Church. Lion Rat Bastard Church, you're full of original sin. Christian Whistleblower, Yeshua message, guess what? You're filled with the spark of divinity within. That church that Cliff created was First Elohim Church of Freedom and Peace. It's on Facebook, so look that up. First Elohim Church of Freedom and Peace. So, no original sin. It's not in the teachings of Yeshua. Spark of divinity within, that is in the teachings of Yeshua. No, Paul said that there's no forgiveness of sin without the shedding of blood. That's what Paul said. That's why Christianity is so focused on blood. That's why if you're Catholic, you're taking the Mass over and over and over again. If you're Catholic, whether you know it or not, your church embraces a doctrine called transubstantiation, which means you're literally drinking the blood of the plastic Jesus. How's the plastic guy have blood? I don't know. You're literally eating the flesh of the plastic Jesus. And Rocky sent me a meme sometime back that said, Jeffrey Darty, you're wrong. I'm not plastic, I'm ceramic, because this picture was a ceramic Jesus. But blood does not, will not forgive sin. All you have to do is realize, number one, I don't have sin. I've got the spark of divinity within. And you have water baptism, Yeshua said, as a demonstration that you are turning your life around, that you are, he said it's for the remission or the forgiveness or the washing away of sin. Let's just leave it at that. It's not blood anymore. It's baptism. And the only reason why my Catholic friends have to take the Mass all the time is to keep you locked into that blood sacrifice mentality. The only reason that my Protestant friends have to take the communion all the time is because they keep you locked into that blood-focused mentality. How many damn songs in your Christian church are about the blood? Think about it. I'll wait. Why are they about the blood? Especially when Yeshua said, no more blood, brother. That's another basic thing that we teach. And here's something that I really haven't covered, and I've got to cover it, and I've got to make it more real to you and more easily accessible to you. And we're going to come back after the break and talk about John 14:12. We're going to talk about the ships of the Bible gods in our last segment and break down some things that really are all related into what I'm about to say. For 2,000 years, we've been worshiping a being called the Lord. I mean, think about it. Praise the Lord! How often do you hear that? Bless the Lord! Oh, my Lord! I love you, Lord! All of that stuff. Lord, 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 Lord Jesus Christ. Just give it all to the Lord. Just trust in the Lord. The Lord will work it all out. I don't really know how to tell you this other than the way I've told you and proved it to you for 5 years now, especially big time in the last year. The Lord is the bad guy. The Lord is, as identified by Yeshua, his adversary. The Lord is not the Father of Yeshua. The Lord is not the God of Yeshua. Yeshua said the Lord is his adversary. Yeshua said he watched the Lord fall from heaven. In these verses where Satan it's translated Satan, the Lord's talking, or Yeshua's talking to Satan. See, even I do it even after coming out of all this. The word Satan means adversary. Yeshua says the Lord is his adversary. So, Jeff, you're telling me that the guy I worship, the guy my mama worship, the guy my grandma worships, and the guy that great-great-granddaddy before them worshipped is actually the adversary of Yeshua? Well, I'm not telling you that. The New Testament tells you that. I'm just the messenger. Why do you think that he very rarely gives you anything that you need? How many times have you prayed to the Lord for finances? Didn't get squat. How many times have you prayed to the Lord for healing? Or have you seen people pray to the Lord for healing, didn't get squat? The Lord is not God. The Lord is not a good God. The Lord is not your God. The Lord is a fallen Elohim that's trying to pretend that he's God and trying to steal your worship, and he's doing a pretty damn good job. Because he's got you believing that he is Yeshua, he is Jesus, he is God. See, that's the big lie. You know, they say the biggest lie is that the devil convinced us that he doesn't exist. No, the biggest lie is that the guy who is the devil's convinced us that he's God. We've been worshiping the devil as God for 2,000 years. And Yeshua came to show us that we were doing that. And that's why they created plastic Jesus to hide the teachings of Yeshua, to replace Yeshua in our mind, and to create a cardboard cutout that the Lord could come in and take control of, and now morph himself into the place where he's ready to launch a final false flag and try to take control of the planet again. Those are some of the basics, and something else that has to be said. We are constantly fed and taught that there's the great end times are coming up. You know, the rapture's going to come, and then after the rapture, there's going to be tribulation, which is either 3.5 years or 7 years, depending upon who you believe. And then after that, the Lord, there he is again. He's coming back, and boy, is he pissed. He's going to kill almost everybody. He's going to blow almost everything up, and then he's going to burn the whole place down. That's what they want you to believe. That's what they want you to believe. But the truth is that the Elohim are going to come back, and they're not coming back. They're not pissed. They're full of peace. They're not coming back to kill anybody. They're coming back to save people. They're not coming back to burn up the earth. They're coming back to refresh the earth. And the Lord is engaged in teaching you, deceiving you to believe that hell is about to come on earth. So when it happens, you'll accept it, you'll receive it, and he'll be able to take advantage of your deception and steal and usurp control of the planet. I am here tonight to tell you that the world is teetering on the brink. And I heard this lady tonight, I can't remember her name. She said there will either be mass enlightenment or mass destruction. She's absolutely right. The Lord wants you to believe that there's going to be mass destruction. The Lord wants you to be afraid that you're going to miss the rapture. The Lord wants you to be afraid of the tribulation. He wants you to be afraid of those vials. He wants you to be afraid of those trumpets. He wants you to be afraid of those locusts and with the sting of a scorpion and the head of a lion. He wants you to be afraid. He wants you to be looking for the Antichrist. And he wants you to be looking for that rat bastard red heifer. He wants you to think that they're going to blow up the temple, the Dome of the Rock, and build a new temple. He wants you to believe all this stuff. And if it happens, folks, it happens only because the Lord is successfully perpetrating a false flag agenda. What's really going to happen is the opposite. It's not going to be total destruction. It's going to be total ascension. That's what's going to happen. That's what's coming. And that's why I'm on the radio screaming and hollering like an idiot. That's why we're going to get out there and do this virtual fellowship. That's why we're going to get out there to the conferences. That's why we're going to do the paranormal tour. That's why we're looking for goddesses. That's why we're listening to goddesses. That's why We are saying we don't care about what anybody says. We're going to do just what Yeshua does. The goddesses are why artists painted the angels to be feminine, just in case you had a vision with a female entity, so you would either think it was angels or Mother Mary. That's what Cliff Desmond had to add. Interesting stuff. So, folks, you kind of got an idea of what we're talking about. We're going to come back after the break. We're going to talk about John 14:12, some amazing stuff there. We're going to finish up talking about those ships of the Bible gods and a little bit of contrast between the Lord and the Elohim. So grab yourself some popcorn and and a drink. Settle in. We've got one more hour on the Christian Whistleblower Show. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty with Rocky Stucci, with Cliff Desmond, and with Veronica Knight, and we'll be right back.
And now, back to the Edward Snowden of the New Testament, the Christian Whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening to the music my kid made. Sorry. I like it. It kind of puts me in that, in that place I want to be. And, Cliff just said something very basic and very simple. We're talking about the goddesses. We're talking about God. We're talking about being lied to about the Lord. When we think about the Lord, if I say the Lord, what do you think of? If I say God, what do you think of? You think of some big dude with gray hair and a beard. Not that I'm against dudes with gray hair and long hair and beards, and sitting on a throne somewhere, ready to throw a lightning bolt at you if you screw up. But the word in the deception starts in the very first verse of the Bible. And it's intentional. It's deliberate. It's diabolical. King James and his merry men wrote, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." In the beginning, God did not create the heaven and the earth. Some dude with a white beard, long hair, this dude, Charlton Heston-esque guy that we think of, the word God, as Cliff has pointed out so intelligently, is Elohim. And the word Elohim means gods and goddesses, male and female. So right from the jump, they want to tell you, God created the heavens and the earth. The Lord created the heavens and the earth. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. The Elohim created the heavens and the earth. The Elohim, the male and female gods and goddesses, the male and female deities, they created the heavens and the earth. And even more than that, in Genesis 1:26 and 27, it really can't be any more simple. And if it wasn't for you being stock up to your eyes and stupid, you would see it. And we're trying to get you out of stupid. They said, and let us create man in our image. And so they created man in their own image, male and female created they him. Let me think about this. Let's make mankind in our own image. Okay, so they made mankind in their image. They made mankind male and female. Don't you get it? They made mankind male and female because they are male and female. We are made male and female in the very image of the Elohim. It's simple. It's A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, easy peasy, but you can't see it because you got spiritual Stockholm syndrome and you cuss at me for pointing out the easy, simple truth to you. I'm telling you the bridge is out and you're saying, go to hell, Daugherty, and you're driving your car over the cliff. Well, guess what? You're going to crash and burn. I'll see you next time. But don't say, I didn't warn you. All righty then. Let's look at John 14:12. John 14:12. This is going to set set our sights for 2016. And I can't believe that I'm sitting here, it's actually John 14:12, with a magnifying glass, because I can't read my King James Dake's annotated reference Bible without the damn magnifying glass. Isn't that something? All right, John 14:12. This will be somewhat familiar to you, but we're going to break it down in a way that you've never heard it before, and we're going to break it down just to the truth, but it just hasn't been heard in like 2,000 years. This is Yeshua, and he says, "He that believes on me, the works that I do, he will do also. And greater works than these shall he do, because I'm leading the way to the Father, or the source, if you get into the original languages, as you know we're going to do. Verily, verily, that's called a double emphatic. That's the most emphatic way to say something in Greek. So he's saying, yo, yo. He's saying, listen up. I'm telling you that people that believe on me, all the stuff I'm doing. You remember the movie where Richard Pryor was playing Pharaoh? The man was phenomenal. I mean, all the stuff that Yeshua did, all this mind-blowing stuff, Yeshua's like, you're going to do this. Same stuff. But then he says, you're going to do greater things, because I'm showing you the way to source. Think about that. Yeshua said that the people that believe on him are going to be doing the same stuff he did, preaching the same stuff he preached, teaching the same stuff he taught. Is your local Pauline church preaching the same stuff that Yeshua preached? No! Is your local Pauline church teaching the same stuff Yeshua taught? No! Are they doing the same stuff Yeshua did? No! It's because they're not of Yeshua. They're preaching the same stuff Paul preached. They're teaching the same stuff Paul taught. They're doing the same stuff Paul did. That's because they're of Paul. They're not of Yeshua. But I'm going to give you even some more help, because we're going to go to the original Greek. And Yeshua says, truly, truly. I mean, Yeshua says, I am telling you the truth, brother. I'm telling you the truth, sister. And he says, the one, and I got to tell you, it's not just the one, it's anyone. Yeshua just said anyone. Not just the Bible college graduate, not just the seminarian, not just the man or woman with 14 letters behind their name that's earned the right to wear some scarlet dress in a church. Anyone. Everyone, he says. Yeshua says, truly, truly, everyone. And the word believing, you know what that word actually really means? It means everyone that puts faith in and trusts me, and it's converse, everyone that I put faith and trust in. So Yeshua is saying, look, any and every one that I put faith and trust in, any and every one that has enough belief to walk my ways and to walk my truths, every one of you, not some of you, not most of you, not some of us, not most of us, all of us that believe, that put our faith in him, he puts his faith in us. And then the works, the word is actually that which is wrought or made, that which is accomplished, that which is carried out, that which is an enter desire. And listen to this, that which is your intention and your purpose. Bam! Yeshua said, I'm telling you the truth. Put your faith in me. I'll put my faith in you. And then every single one of you that does that, you are going to accomplish something. You are going to carry out a program. You are going to have a manifest intention. You're going to have a divine purpose. You're going to have, and here we are again, breaking it down. You're going to have a business and employment that which everyone is occupied in. You're going to find your basic purpose. You're going to find your intention. You're going to find your business, your employment. You're going to find yourself, if you have faith in Yeshua, doing, believing the things that he did. What did Yeshua do? Let's think about this. He preached that there's no original sin, that there's a spark of divinity within. He healed people. He cleansed lepers. He cleansed people of unbalanced spiritual entities. And as we've talked about on the show before, he even and his apostles went into the spiritual realm and brought deliverance message to those that have already died and are still in the spiritual realm, not where they're supposed to be. He and his disciples went into those spiritual realms and spoke to those individuals. We talked about it a little bit. We're going to get into it a lot more. I'm calling it astral regeneration or astral ascension or something, because it's not really salvation because there's no original sin, but Yeshua and his disciples ministered to the spirits that have already died, the spirits of people that have already died, and especially to the spirits of people that died under the deception of human religion and never heard the truth. So Yeshua said, you're going to be doing this stuff. You're going to be healing. You're going to be freeing people from unbalanced entities. You're going to be ministering to the spirits of people that have already died and that are still in the spiritual realms in between where they were and where they're supposed to be. You're going to be doing that stuff. So let me ask you, why aren't you? Why aren't you? Especially those of you that are, call yourself light workers, into the paranormal, whatever. Why aren't you? When's the last time you did any of this? Not trying to make you feel bad, trying to inspire you and trying to encourage you that it's right there for you. He wants you to do it. You want to do it. You just got to get empowered to do it. And there's people that can help you, teach you, show you how to do it. So those that have faith in Yeshua, he has faith in them. He leads you into your real basic purpose. He gives you your real employment and your real way to go. And he shows you, teaches you, leads you, guides you, empowers you to do the same cool stuff that he was doing. Man, that's awesome. It's not about building big churches and, being on TV and, like all of these whitewashed, rat bastard painted fences are. They're using the name of Jesus, which is a bastardization of Yeshua, to make money off their religion by stealing from you and using this rat bastard cardboard cutout plastic Jesus to justify it all, and you've bought it for 2,000 years. How much longer are you going to put up with it? But here's some cool stuff. Not only are we going to do all that stuff, but Yeshua said that we would do greater. Greater. What does that mean? The word is megas. I like it, megos, but it's like mega. Super huge. Large, great in the wildest sense. Abundant. All the more, completely. Beyond. We're going to do stuff that is beyond the sensible appearance of things. If what you're doing is making sense, then you're not doing much of anything, my friend. Because Yeshua said the people that follow him, they're going to be doing stuff that goes beyond sensible appearance. If whatever you're doing is making sense, you're not doing too damn much. If whatever you're doing is understandable, then you're not doing anything. If whatever you're doing makes logical sense, then you're not doing anything worth doing. Get outside your box and do something that blows somebody's mind. Do something that shakes it up. Do something that rattles it. Do something that rocks and rolls. Do something beyond the sensible appearance of this finite, foolish mud hut in which we live and this Stockholm Syndrome jailed populace. Bunch of rats in a maze is all we are. Get out of your cage. Go beyond the logical. Go beyond the sensical. Dare to do something crazy. And Yeshua said that, not me. Well, what's crazy? You see, Yeshua said preaching to spirits of people that have already died, that's not even crazy. That's just normal. That's just what you're supposed to be doing. So what would be crazy if preaching to spirits that have already died is normal? What would be crazy? Well, somebody has dropped something in my mind. What if, because the way it works is spirits, people that are incarnate in these mud hut bodies, they die. This mud hut dies, and here's the spirit. And sometimes, if you've been battered, beaten, broken, and just crushed by religion, you can't get where you want to go, or you wind up in a soul farm, a hell of your own creation, a fake heaven of your own creation. And sooner or later, these spirits realize, man, this is not where I'm supposed to be. And some of them never get there. They get attached to people. They get attached to places. They get attached to things. And if going into that realm and speaking words of deliverance to them is normal, which blows our minds. I remember when Cliff and I started talking about this, and Rocky who's very much learned in the paranormal realm, and it's something completely new to me. They've been talking about me and sharing with me about how it goes. And I mean, that's mind-blowing. But it was the regular work of the church. Yeshua and his apostles did it out of normalcy. They would talk to regular people in Jerusalem. Then they would minister to the captives in the spiritual realm. That was normal. So if that's normal, what is beyond the sensible appearance of things? What is beyond? What is expanded? What is mega? Well, what if some of these spirits, again, I'll try to get back. I know I'm going down a rabbit trail. They die. The spirit is between and betwixt. It's not in the mud hut anymore. It's not where it's supposed to be, going back to source, not where it's supposed to be, going back into its ascension. It's trapped in a soul farm, or it's just locked up in a person, place, or thing. And what happens is, over time, if these entities cannot maintain enough contact with humans, they lose their vitality. They have to be in contact with a human in order to stay alive. That's why ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to talk about, they want to hang out with you so they can get your energy. That's why I'm constantly warning you. Everything that says it's a spirit guide ain't a spirit guide. Everything that says that's your passed away grandmama ain't your passed away grandmama. It's oftentimes some poor, pitiful entity just trying to stay alive, and it'll fake, it'll lie, it'll cheat, it'll do anything that it can to get some energy from you. And I'm sorry, my friends, but if these poor, well-meaning but monumentally stupid people that say, all you have to do is ask the entity, are you of the light? And they have to tell you the truth. I can't even believe how stupid that is. I know 5-year-olds that know how to lie. So you're telling me that this spirit can't lie? Please. It's stupid. It's wrong. It's dangerous. They can and will lie because they're trying to stay alive. But if they can't get any human contact, they weaken, they weaken, they weaken, they weaken, and suddenly, and eventually they'll just go away. They will disintegrate. They'll die. They will, their energy will disperse into an unrecognizable, tiny pieces. Nothing ever really dies, but their energy is so dispersed that it's no longer an entity, and it's just going back and going back into the fertilizer of the spiritual realm, the astral realm, whatever you want to call it. So if ministering to the spirits that are in the astral realm, if you will, is normal, what would be abnormal? Well, what if our concept of time is flawed? What if time is not linear? And I know a lot of you wondered, why in the world is Jeff predicting the NFL season with 82% accuracy? To tell you the truth, I wasn't even sure why I was doing it. I did it really because when I wrote Apostle Paul Antichrist, I claimed to have been able to look into the past and see some things in great clarity, to add some depth and frankly some interesting imagery to the book. But the reality is that it was much more than that, and it was preparing me for this. I didn't even know it. And if you can go back and see, and if you can go forward and see, which I've proven with 82% accuracy, predicting every NFL game, not this season, but last season, and the best of them out in Vegas, 52, 53%, and I did 82%. And I didn't bet on it. I should have. Don't know why I didn't. Well, I wasn't. If I'd been in Vegas, I would have, but I was in Florida, and gambling is not legal here. But if we can look forward, we can look back. What if time, and if you know about time, and if you know about this type of school of thought, I welcome your input. JeffreyDarty.com, at Unindoctrinate on Twitter, Jeffrey Darty on Facebook, GothamLTD@gmail.com. Let me hear from you if you know about this. What if, as was recently suggested to me, past, present, future are not places along a timeline? What if they are modulations, frequencies? What if they are coexisting? I remember my son trying to tell me this, or we talking about this in the past as well. And what if we're able to tune in to past? What if we're able to turn, and for this discussion, what if we are able to tune into the past? What if, I'll leave that, but what if we are able to tune into the past? Well, if we're able to tune into the past, then we could do something beyond sensibility. We could do something mega. We could go into the past and talk to those spirits that were trapped, that have since disintegrated in this timeline. That would be greater, according to the words of Yeshua. And then you start thinking about other dimensions. Now, I know a lot of learned people, or people that at least think they're learned, have poo-pooed the idea of there being multiple dimensions, or there being other dimensions. And they make the mistakes of thinking that just because there could be another dimension, that it has to be fully dressed out and fully developed. And what they don't understand is that other dimensions are dimensions of possibility, and they don't have to actually take place in fulfillment until someone goes down that path. But there's an infinite number of possibilities, and there are parallel universes, there are parallel possibilities. Quantum physics has taught us this. And what about the spirits that are in those other quantum realities? What if we could reach out to them? That would be greater. That would be mega. Am I blowing your mind yet? Yeshua said, do some shit that you don't even understand. Yeshua basically said, do some crazy shit. Just get crazy. Do some stuff that don't make no sense. Think about something that normal people don't think about. Do some stuff that makes people think you're crazy. Because when you do some stuff that make people think you're crazy, when you think about stuff that make people think you're crazy, you get outside of this prison mindset and you start discovering new things. Maybe it doesn't all work that way, but I guarantee you, along the way to the impossible, you're going to discover a lot of things that are doable. And I'm telling you, 2016, you thought it was weird and wild and woolly and wonderful and wacky that we were going to speak to the spirits that are in prison that have already died and were held in religious bondage. If you thought that we were crazy because we're going to go in to the soul farms and set the captive free, start tearing them up, start breaking down the matrix, start slapping around Agent Smith. If you thought that was nuts, wait till we start traveling in time and doing the same thing in the past. Wait till we start traveling into other dimensionalities and other quantum realities and doing the same thing. Man, that's what Yeshua was talking about. You crazy nuts that have enough guts to put faith in me, I'm going to put faith in you. And you all crazy fools, you're going to be doing the stuff that I did, and that blows people's minds. But for y'all, ain't nothing. Yeah, we raised some dead. Yeah, we healed some sick. Yeah, we cast out some unbalanced entities. Yeah, we did a lot of this stuff, but that's just normal stuff. But man, let me tell you what we did when we time traveled to the past and ministered to the spirits that were in prison. Let me tell you about the time where we did a quantum jump and went into another parallel reality and did some relieving of bondage there. If you're okay with the normal, then this show isn't for you. And frankly, IPBN-FM.com probably isn't for you because there ain't much normal going on here. There ain't much regular going on here. This is for the people that are willing to do things, to think about things, and to trod down paths that you know who we are. We're the people that rush in where angels fear to tread. We're the people that go where no man has gone before. We're the people that take the leap. We're the people that make the jump. And we're the people that make crazy just another part of doing business. You want to know what the Christian Whistleblower is all about? That's what it's all about. And if you think I'm crazy, you haven't seen crazy. Remember Jack Nicholson? Well, they like the Batman. Wait till they get a load of me. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. I'll be right back.
And now, back to the Edward Snowden of the New Testament, the Christian Whistleblower, Jeffrey Daugherty.
Veronica Knight, thank you very much. This is Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Back for our final segment. If you did want to give a phone call, we'll try to work it in. That's area code 651-760-8906. If you'd like to ask a question, we've got something going on in the chat room. Let me look at this. Regular Anarchies suspects that there's a lot of realities, each with their own types of time. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about. So if we were able to stand back and look at all of them from a 3D space or extra space outside of this one perspective, you'd see a bunch of different lines cutting across in front of you, and perhaps you could access different portions of those timelines at will if you had the power to do so. I totally agree with you, Anarchy, and this is something I never even considered, and this is interesting. I asked my children to pray to the Creator, see if we could go to another galaxy My daughter told me she didn't think she wanted to go. I totally understand that. But, you talk about this kind of stuff and people are like, what the hell is wrong with those fools? They're talking about craziness. But I was so excited to see that in John 14:12, Yeshua says that we should be talking about stuff that is beyond sensible understanding. I mean, do you hear what Yeshua said? Yeshua said, y'all need to get crazy up in here. There's no growth in your comfort zone. There's no cool shit in your comfort zone, man. If you want cool, if you're happy with the normal status quo, you know what? God bless you, because we need people like you. We need some stable people to balance out crazy nuts like me. And I understand that. And I have people that tell me, and they're right, and Anarchy kind of touch on it as well. Is everybody going to be able to minister to spirits that have died, that are in the astral realm? No. Is everybody going to be able to go in the past and do it? Is everybody going to be able to go into the soul farms and do it? Is everybody going to be able to go into different quantum realities? No. But why not try? I think that it's better to try. It's better to see if you're able than to wait around for some type of a calling. Because Yeshua said, everyone that puts their faith in me, I'll put my faith in them, and they're going to do what I did, which is crazy, but they're going to do mega crazy beyond people's ability to comprehend. And I think that for 2,000 years, the Pauline matrix has got us into this idea that, there's priest and there's laity. There's pastors and there's people that sit in the pews. And there's this dichotomy has developed. And of course, it's a dichotomy of control, but it's also a dichotomy of disempowerment. And it facilitates our fear. It facilitates laziness, and it facilitates lack of initiative. And I think we all should challenge ourselves. Instead of waiting for God or the divine to call you up and say, hey, I'm giving you a calling, why not just do what Yeshua already said you could do? And if you can't do it, okay, no big deal. Help out, support somebody that is able to do it, and you do what you're supposed to do, I do what I'm supposed to do, and the doing gets done, right? But what if you can do it, and you just don't try? What if Michael Jordan didn't feel like picking up a basketball? That's a very base analogy. But we want you to be all you can be. We want you to reach your highest potential. And this laity, clergy dichotomy is stealing so much from us. And that's why I want to encourage you to please, 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 please do all you can to do all you can. And what we really need is collaboration. We don't need competition. And this hyper-masculine paradigm that we've been in is a paradigm of competition. And you see it throughout the paranormal world and throughout the alternative media. I mean, basic stupid stuff like, I love Art Bell and I hate George Norrie. I love George Norrie and I hate Art Bell. Really? We're a very small segment of society, even though those shows have millions of listeners. It's still a drop in the bucket. And we're so stupid that instead of, supporting one another, and if you like Norrie better than Bell, okay, fine. But you don't have to be an idiot about it. Support your brother. Support your sister. Why be in competition when you can be in collaboration? Why say, I hate this guy, I hate this girl? Why not just be nice? If you don't like him, employ the Thumper rule. Thumper from Bambi, remember him? He said that if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. And that's the way you should be with your brother, with your sister that's trying to do the best they can. Now, if somebody's out there being stupid, being an idiot, I'm the first one to call them on it. I'm the first one to call a rat bastard. Rocky will call a cockroach a cockroach. We're not saying don't do that, but don't be in competition. There's someone said this to me, and I thought it was very profound. There's too many people in the paranormal realm that just want to be famous. They just want to be on H2. They just want to be on Sci-Fi. They just want to see themselves on Coast to Coast. They just want to be famous. And go to Hollywood if you want to be famous. Don't prostitute the work of the paranormal to facilitate your desire to be famous. Don't prostitute the work of alternative media to facilitate your desires to be famous. If you want to be famous, go to Hollywood. I'll support you. But don't prostitute our work just because you want to be famous. First of all, everybody knows that you just want to be famous and you look stupid. Second of all, you can only fool some of the people some of the time, and it's not going to work, and you could get your ass kicked for doing it in the spiritual realm, and maybe sometimes by one of your brothers or sisters that's had enough of your you-know-what. So, competition, we need to get beyond competition. One thing that Jimmy Swaggart said to me, he said, Jeffrey, there's two ways to have the biggest church in town. One, you can take a wrecking ball and knock down everybody else's church so yours is the only one left standing. And that's the route that too many people, even in the paranormal and alternative media arenas, take. But he said the other way to have the biggest church is to build the biggest, brightest, best church in town that serves and helps and delivers more to more people. If you want to be famous, why don't you do what Yeshua said? He that would be the master should be the servant of all. Why don't you just do what you know you're supposed to do, find what you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do, and let the rest of it take care of itself. I'm so sick and tired of the competition. I'm so sick and tired of it. We need collaboration, not competition. Chat room, Cliff Desmond, time was created to give us a sense of measurement. However, it is only as reliable as the perception we experience within our own lifetime. Yeah, it's really fascinating when we start trying to figure out time. And I really believe that we don't know, and there's so much for us to understand and discover. And I think, I was talking with someone the other night about being in the moment. And that's kind of our huge goal is, don't be in the future, don't be in the past, just be in the moment and just live in the moment. I mean, just experience the moment. Just be in the moment. Just align your chakras and, put your kundalini in the right spot and just be in the moment. And we think that's the ultimate. Oh, I'm in the moment. But what if you could maximize the moment by leveraging moments in multiple timelines? What if you could maximize the moment by leveraging moments in multiple realities? See? This is the kind of stuff we're thinking about. This is the kind of the stuff we're working on. What is new cosmic knowledge? What is create yourself? What do you mean spiritual technologies? Jack, that's spiritual technologies. Going into the spiritual realm and ministering to spirits of people that are dead and were bound by human religion while they're on earth, that's a spiritual technology. And now we're talking about crazy mega spiritual technologies. Not to change the subject, but can you recommend a remote viewing tutorial or a course? I wish I could, and I need to probably find one. There's a thing called unconscious competency, and I'm able to do it just because I can do it. Now, I have been able to personally teach people, so it does sound like a gratuitous plug. I can teach people to do remote viewing. I can teach people to do that, but I don't know of another person. If you write me, I'll check my resource and get you some other names, but it's really not that hard of a thing. It's just realizing it. It's just getting out of your own head, and it's going to be some amazing stuff. And what you talk about, says Anarchy, ain't your grandmama's kind of church. Thank God for that, and I appreciate you saying that. Now, I just wanted to tie up some loose ends. We had some people asking questions about spaceships of the Bible gods, and kind of the bottom line on this is that the Elohim, which were the gods and goddesses, male and female, that we talked about, that created this planet, normal logic tells us that if they created this planet, they were in existence before this planet was, so they had to come from somewhere, right? So, speaking literally, they are from outside of Earth, or they are extraterrestrial. Now, are they ETs like we're talking about? The common parlance? I don't think they're that kind of ETs, but they're definitely extraterrestrial. They're at least demigods. They're some type of a divine being, and they came from somewhere else. So, strictly speaking, our gods, the Elohim, were travelers from some other place, some other time, some other dimension. I don't know, but they ain't from here. They're not from around here. And the Bible has clearly shown us that at least as this realm of humanity winds down, as this phase of our life winds down, our Elohim gods that created this whole thing and all of us, they are coming back to Earth, and they're coming back in a ship. We showed you that in Revelation 21. We talked about that last week. If you Googled, as I asked you to do, you Google the New Jerusalem, you'll see a lot of scientists, engineers, astrophysicists, smart people, even people from NASA without any axe to grind in the spiritual realm. You won't see any of them from MUFON, because MUFON is too scared, running with its tail between its legs, to actually address the cutting edge aspects of UFOs in the Bible, which is just completely lamentable. But anyway, I had to get a shot in. They show that the New Jerusalem is actually a great cube-shaped craft with probably facings that make it look somewhat pyramid-like on its side. So it's a great big cube, and it is a ship. There's no doubt about it. So that's the ship of the Elohim. And then in Revelation 19, you see, and we've talked about this extensively, both here and on Coast to Coast, and in my books. Most of this is in the Final Message of the Last Apostle book. The Lord in Revelation 19, he comes back, and he comes back in a ship. He comes back pretending that he is Yeshua. He comes back wrapped in that plastic Jesus imagery, and he comes back with a ship. So there are ships of the Bible gods, both the fallen false gods, aka the Lord, and the true gods, aka the Elohim. And you can tell the difference. And what I'm really trying to do is one of two things. Number one, I'm trying to get as much information out. Like Cliff said, this is about the New Jerusalem. 1,500 miles this way, 1,500 miles that way, and 1,500 miles high. It's a huge, massive cube ship that descends from the visible heavens down to earth, shiny. John even talks about the transparent glass windows. I mean, can you imagine that? They didn't know about transparent glass view screens, and John's talking about the New Jerusalem having that. It's a ship, my friends, and look into last week's show, and you'll begin to understand what we're talking about. But what we're trying to do is, number one, get out enough information, and I believe we can do this, get out enough information that enough people understand what's going on so that we will preempt the Lord's ability to launch his final false flag. We can get so much information out there to so many people that so much enlightenment can be flowing and so much energy can be flowing and so much of a perfect frequency and modulation can be in action that we can literally prevent the manifestation, prevent the ability of the Lord to perpetrate his intended final false flag. And that, my friends, is why John wrote the book of Revelation. I know Pauline Church is trying to teach you that he wrote to warn you of the great tribulation and all the evils falling upon humanity. That's just a lie. They're trying to prevent you from understanding that the Elohim are going to come back. But the Lord, if we can get all this information out, we can prevent his false flag from taking place. Fallback plan, if for some reason he does it anyway, then we can get this information out where people can recognize and realize that when the Lord launches his false flag, second coming, pseudo Jesus coming, that they'll know that it's not really the divine gods of our past, but it's an imposter. If and when something like the rapture took place, we're trying to get this information out so people will know that it's not the rapture, it's not the tribulation period being kicked off, it's the Lord or forces aligned with the Lord or possibly some extraterrestrial entity taking advantage of false Christian imagery to have a massive depopulation of the planet and set up an expectation for the continuation of the false narrative. Now, you might have to replay that a couple times to get all that, but it's good stuff. So we can let people know that when they see an event that looks like the rapture, number one, it's false. Number two, it's not the real gods. And number three, it is not the start of anything genuine, but it is the first event in the false train of the Lord's final false flag. So maybe that will inspire more people to get out the message and prevent the rest of it. But then when the things start happening that John listed in the book of Revelation, if they do start happening, we'll know they're false. We'll know that, yes, that's a ship. Yes, it is a ship of a Bible God, but it's the ship of the fallen, false Bible God, little g, the Lord, and we're not going to be fooled by his false flag. Now, we might be the only ones resisting, but at least we'll know. I think we can stop it. I really do, my friends. If I didn't think we could stop it, I would never get behind this microphone again. But I believe that together you and I can do it. We can stop it. I really believe we can stop it. That's why we're expanding the show to other networks. We love IPBN-FM. We're going to be here as long as we're welcome to be here. I love it here. It's a great place to be, but we're also going to be other places as well. Not because we're not happy here, but because we want more people to hear this message to prevent this false flag. And we also want people to realize that there is going to be the gods coming back, and they are going to come back in a ship. And when you see that happening, you can receive it with joy, you can receive it with full embrace, and you can understand what is taking place. And it's very easy. We talked about this, but I just want to give you a few pointers. When the Lord comes back, he's coming back in a ship that is very militaristic. Revelation 19 shows that it has military markings on it. Revelation 19 shows that it has armaments on it. We know that the Lord is coming back, kicking ass and taking names. He's highly pissed. The Lord's going to come back with all guns blazing, literally. If you read in Revelation 19, he's going to come back with a fleet of ships that are launching and raining destruction upon planet Earth. If that ever happens, that is not the Elohim. That is the fallen God, the Lord. You will know it by his actions. By their fruit, you will know them. Some guy named Yeshua said that. And when they come back bringing death, warfare, bloodshed, chaos, fear, despair, that is not the true gods of the Bible. That's the false god, or it is forces aligned with the false god. So if that happens, you will know. Don't buy it. Don't accept it. Don't be fooled. Get the message out. Help us expand this so more and more people can know. So the lordship, militaristic, the lordship, military markings, the lordship, lots of armaments, the lordship, running and gunning, killing people, wreaking havoc and destruction upon the planet. The ship of the Elohim, can you believe we're talking about Bibles, spaceships in the Bible coming down? But I would have, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have been fighting tooth and nail against this, but it's true. I can't change the truth. I may hate gravity, but I don't float. It's just the way it is. But the ship of the Elohim, a beautiful, stunning, shining cube with lots of beautiful lights on it, with view screens that are visible to the naked eye, descending from the visible heavens into our atmosphere. No guns, no military markings, not destroying the earth, but refreshing the earth, not killing people, but infusing people with power and very likely instantaneously bringing people to a higher level of ascension. So folks, in our final 3 minutes, Pauline Christianity wants to sell you a future of fear. Yeshua wants to sell you. The Pauline Christianity wants to sell you a future of fear. The message of Yeshua wants to offer you a future filled with hope. The Pauline Christianity and the Lord want you to bow down to their power. The true message of Yeshua wants to fill you with the peace of the Elohim. The Lord and the forces of Pauline Christianity want to keep you scared, want to keep you filled with fear and loathing, to keep you in line. The message of Yeshua and the other Elohim is peace that passes all understanding. Rest unto your souls, not toil for your weary bodies. Hope, peace, joy, or fear, subjugation, and slavery. Jesus, Paul, fear, guilt, slavery, subjugation. Yeshua, the Elohim, peace, joy, happiness, fulfillment. Listen to Cliff on the way out, JeffreyDarty.com, ChristianWhistleblower.com, at Unindoctrinate on Twitter, Jeffrey Darty on Facebook. We're here every week. This is what the Christian Whistleblower is all about. It's about peace. It's about joy. It's about a glorious future filled with hope, not a horrible future that we need to fear. Folks, above all else, this is Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, urging you and empowering you to unindoctrinate yourself.
Stay connected with the Christian Whistleblower at www.christianwhistleblower.com. On Facebook, follow Jeffrey Daugherty and Jeffrey Daugherty Show, and on Twitter at NC Kabbalah. Visit ChristianWhistleBlower.com today to learn how to create yourself and to live the life you'll love.